Good day. Focus on Liberia Daily News. My name is Jeremiah Mulbah presenting. Today is Tuesday, December 17, and the year is 2024. These are big stories making headlines. Campus-based Vanguard Student Unification Party criticizes Boakai Kun administration, accusing it of gross incompetence, widespread corruption, and neglect of the Liberian people. Coalition for Democratic Change expresses deep concern over what it describes as a violent suppression of peaceful protests by the government of President Joseph Boakai. Government of Liberia hosts founder validation and national broad-based stakeholders consultation workshop on the draft National Blue Economy Strategy in Monrovia. Away from home, at least 34 people have died following one of the most intense storms ever recorded in northern Mozambique. The country's National Institute of Risks and Disaster has said. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail, plus much developments. The campus-based Vanguard Student Unification Party has criticized the Boakai Kun administration, accusing it of gross incompetence, widespread corruption, and neglect of the Liberian people. In a statement read by Sub-Chair Mr. Vesta Wheeler on Monday, December 16, at the University of Liberia's Capitol Hill campus, the group outlined 30 key grievances and threatened mass protests if their demands were not addressed. Sub's statement was a sharp reminder of growing discontent with the Boakai administration. Their list of grievances ranges from governance failures to police brutality and has at the same time underscored the challenges facing Liberia's fragile democracy. With mass protests looming, Sub noted that the government's refusal to address paramount issues in the country would lead to mounting pressure to address their demands or risk a wave of arrests that could further destabilize the country. The student-led movement, known for a history of advocacy, described the government's 11-month tenure as a period of endless deception and lies, claiming it had failed to deliver on promises while worsening the plight of ordinary Liberians. Sub argued that the administration's lack of transparency and accountability has eroded public trust. Willard, in his statement, made specific accusations of economic mismanagement and corruption, pointing fingers at officials such as Public Works Minister Roland Giddens for allegedly mismanaging 22 million, while also questioning dubious contract and financial dealings involving senior government figures. The Coalition for Democratic Change has expressed deep concern over what it describes as a violent suppression of peaceful protests by the government of President Joseph Boakai. The CDC claims that today's action by state security forces, including the firing of live bullets at unarmed citizens, represent a significant threat to Liberia's democracy and constitutional order. In a press release issued by the party, the CDC condemned the use of excessive force against citizens exercising their constitutional rights to peaceful assembly and free speech. The CDC further accused President Boakai's administration of undermining the rule of law and violating the Liberian constitution. It argued that the government's actions, including the arbitrary arrest and detention of protesters in undisclosed locations, are unconstitutional and reminiscent of Liberia's dark history of autocracy. The CDC also raised alarm about what it called the re-emergence of jungle justice and intimidation under President Boakai's leadership. The party called on Liberia's international partners, including the United States Embassy, European Union, and ECOWAS, to take action against what it describes as a growing pattern of constitutional breaches. The CDC called for the immediate release of detained protesters that urged the government to hold accountable those responsible for the alleged violation. The party emphasized the importance of respecting democratic principles and protecting citizens' rights, warning that continued silence from the international community could embolden the government. Voices from EXA, a Liberian advocacy group, has issued a strong statement condemning ISA police brutality and violence during recent protests in the country. The organization is calling for kind and restraint from both state security forces and aggrieved protesters, emphasizing the importance of protecting democratic principles. In the statement released on December 17, 2024, VET reaffirmed the right of Liberians to assemble and protest peacefully as enshrined in Article 17 of the 1986 Constitution. The group urged the government to uphold this constitutional right and to ensure the safety of protesters exercising their freedoms. The group said the firing of tear gas is condemnable and inimical to freedom of assembly and freedom of expression. The statement read, VET further called on state security forces to refrain from using lethal forces against unarmed protesters and condemn any threats or acts of violence against journalists covering the event. However, the organization also criticized the actions of some protesters for engaging in throwing stones at police officers and failing to demonstrate in an orderly and peaceful manner. While Article 17 guarantees protests, it also insists that such action must be orderly and peacefully done. VET appealed to all parties to de-escalate tensions, urging both the government and protesters to prioritize kind and peace. The cherished value and tenets of democracy must be protected. The onus is upon everyone, said Martin Kaden Kwali, an ex-Liberian activist and leader of the organization. The statement underscores the need for balance between maintaining public order and protecting civil liabilities, a critical aspect of Liberia's democratic development. VET's calls for mutual restraint comes at a time when tensions between citizens and state authorities are at a critical point, highlighting the urgent need for dialogue and adherence to democratic principles. A peaceful protest in Monrovia today turned violent after the Liberian National Police used excessive force against unarmed citizens exercising their constitutional rights to assemble and express their grievances. Protesters were met with tear gas and water cannons, leaving many injured and some detained. Representative Frank Sarfoko of Montserrat County District 9 has strongly condemned the police action, describing them as a blatant violation of Liberia's democratic principles and human rights. He said the Constitution of Liberia guarantees the right to peaceful assembly, protests, and freedom of movement, all of which were grossly infringed by today's action. The lawmaker expressed deep concern over the use of violence against citizens who were protesting in a non-violent manner. He added that it is troubling that those entrusted to uphold the law resorted to brutality against peaceful protesters. Such action undermines public trust in law enforcement poses serious threats to the country's democracy. Representative Foko has vowed to seek justice for the affected citizens. He announced that he has initiated legal actions against individuals and institutions responsible for the violent crackdown, including the unlawful imprisonment of protesters. The government of Liberia is hosting the final validation and national broad-based stakeholders consultation workshop on a draft national blue economy strategy in Monrovia. The three-day event is being held with support from the African Union, Inter-African Bureau of Animal Resources through the funding provided by the Kingdom of Norway. The validation workshop follows a national stakeholders consultative workshop held in September 2024. In remarks, the Deputy Commissioner for Vessel Registration of the Liberia Maritime Authority, John Harvey, said the strategy is a combination of extensive consultations, expert advice, and the contributions of all stakeholders, thus representing the collective vision and aspiration of all key actors in the public and private sectors. He stressed that stakeholders gave keen consideration to the long-term sustainability of this because it holds a critical importance that will ensure that future generations inherit vibrant and resilient marine ecosystem. The blue economy presents a unique opportunity to drive economic growth while reducing poverty, giving the status of the blue economy to socio-economic development. Deputy Commissioner Harvey indicated that deliberate efforts should be made to ensure that everyone is included in every aspect of the formulation of the strategy. He mentioned that the voices of marginalized communities, women and youth must be highlighted and that they benefit from the opportunities this sector offers. In foreign news, now at least 34 people have died following one of the most intense storms ever recorded in northern Mozambique. The country's National Institute of Risks and Disaster Management has said Cyclone Chido may landfall in Mozambique on Sunday after wreaking havoc in the Indian Ocean territory of Mayotte. Hundreds are feared dead in Mayotte, a French overseas region, and several people, including more than 200 Red Cross volunteers, are thought to be missing. The INGD had called the situation in Mozambique heartbreaking and warned that the death toll is likely to rise. Mayotte feels like nuclear war aftermath. Mozambique storms how to cyclone-proof your life as cyclone. More than 34,000 Mozambican families have lost their homes to Chido, which brought winds of around 260 kilometers. Schools, health facilities, and fishing boats were also destroyed. Chido struck northern provinces that are regularly battled by cyclones. The area is also beset by attack from Islamic militants. The cyclone made landfall in Cabo Delgado before traveling further inland to Nassau and Nampula, where a 3-year-old girl was among the fatalities. Most of those killed by Chido were hit by falling objects such as from the scrub bricks wall. INGD spokesperson Paulo Tomo said electricity and communications have been upended. State-owned power company Electricidade de Mozambique announced that around 200,000 customers are out of power. In Mayotte, widespread damage to infrastructure with down power line and impassable road is severely hindering emergency operation. Chido was the strongest storm to strike the territory in more than 90 years. The official death toll on the island has reached 21, but it is thought that hundreds of people may have died. To end the news, here once again the headlines. Campus-based Vanguard Student Unification Party criticizes Buak administration, accusing it of gross incompetence, widespread corruption, and neglect of the Liberian people. Coalition for Democratic Change expresses deep concern over what it describes as a violent suppression of peaceful protests by government of President Joseph Boakai. Government of Liberia host fund validation and national broad-based stakeholders consultation workshop on the draft national blue economy strategy in Monrovia. Away from home, at least 34 people have died following one of the most intense storms ever recorded in northern Mozambique, the country's National Institute of Risk and Disaster Management have said. That's Focus on Liberia Daily News. My name is Jeremiah Mulbah. Thanks for watching and listening.